Hey all, I'm back and my hair's still out of control. Alright, so that first video was an introduction to the syllabus. This is a separate but overlapping video on an introduction to the course. I'll try to avoid the repetition from what I've already covered on the syllabus material. Here I guess I want to sort of give you a feel for how to navigate the course on Canvas. All right. So, a couple things here, pro tips. 1, check in, please, I'm begging you, check in to the course on Canvas 2 or 3 times a week to keep up with what's happening. All right? Because related to that, and I'm going to come back to this point in just a moment, but related to that, I don't mount all of the material for the semester all at once. That would be insane in the brain. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. So I don't do that. Right? I mount the modules as we work through them in serial fashion. All right? So for that reason alone, you should check in pretty regularly. Because I know you'll be on the edge. You get paid for the whole seat, but you only need the edge. You'll be so hyped. Right? Like, oh, I just got through Module 1. I can't wait for Module 2. Right? Did he post it yet? And so you'll keep checking in. So check in 2 or 3 times a week to see what's happening, to stay abreast of what's happening. And this is all kind of done on a rolling basis. So it'll behoove you to check in regularly. All right? Now, I do centralize the material on the home page, which is the same as the modules page, which is the same as the home page. They're the same thing. So when you go to the home page, you get the modules page. When you go to the modules page, you get the home page. They're the same thing. All right? That's where the action is. I cannot emphasize that enough. Way too many students only use what I believe is the calendar function that shows you the due dates for assignments. That gives you sort of a deracinated, very partial, very narrow view of what's happening in the course. I cannot emphasize that enough. All right. I cannot emphasize that enough. All right. So here's an example. All right. Right off the bat, I think there's going to be current events quiz number 1. Right. If you're only using the calendar function, you'll see the quiz number 1. You'll see the due date. You'll see when it opens and when it closes. You can take it through that function. But you'll be like, Professor Carlton, what's this based on? Is it based on chapter 1 of our book? Is it based on the Bowers material? Like, what's it based on? And I'll be like, you're not looking at it on the home page. You're not looking at that in context. That's why you're confused. Don't do that. Go to the home page, and on that home page, at or near the top, you will see a module that is called something like Current Events Quiz Number 1. And within that module, you will see on the home page 3 current events articles, and then the quiz. And then you will know, right, that quiz is based on those 3 current events articles. And then you'll kill it. Because I cannot tell you how many students will only look at the calendar function, see the due date for the quiz, and they can't figure out what it's based on. And I'll be like, go to the home page. I'm begging you. Go to the home page. That's where it's all happening. That gives you all the assignments in context. Now look, exam 1. If you only use the calendar function, you'll just see exam 1 and the due date, and when it opens and when it closes. And you can take it through that function. But you won't see the study guides. You won't see the pro tips videos. You won't see all the stuff that you need to know what it's based on and how to best navigate that exam. I cannot emphasize that enough. All right, so you should be checking that home page regularly and using that as a way to interface with the course and not the damn calendar function. That should be like a backup. I might want to start looking at the calendar function, what's coming up with due dates. But then from there, transition to the home page. All right. I'll try to calm down. What else? So there will be sort of special topics modules for like current events quiz number 1, current events quiz number 2, and I try to put the ones that are coming due at the top. And as things are completed, I move those to the bottom, so you don't have to scroll down. Right? I try to put the material that's most relevant at that moment in time at the top or near the top. Okay, so you'll see initially, right, current events quiz number 1. You'll see introduction to the course and the syllabus, that module at the top. That'll later move down because it'll be less relevant as the semester rolls by. You'll see the textbook information at the top initially, and then it'll come down. You'll see the syllabus, right, initially at the top, and then it'll come down. You'll see, so those are all the special topics modules. Now the backbone of the course are going to be the substantive modules, right? Module 1, Chapter 1. Right, dogs ate it. Introduction to thinking about democracy versus autocracy. The foundations of our government, our political culture. I might include some material there on our demographics, our tradition of inegalitarianism, and so forth. So, within that first module, Module 1, Chapter 1, substantive module, this is where the course material is laid out. Now, the expectation is you'll read Chapter 1, and then at the very top of that module, I will post a brief introductory video. And in that brief introductory video, I'll lay out the essence of that chapter and what we're covering. I try to keep it relatively brief. I think typically around, it varies a lot, from like maybe 5 minutes to about 15, something like that. Right? Relatively, broad overview. And that's going to be, I think, a YouTube video with closed captioning. Below that, you're going to see and I'll have 2 versions of each of these next pieces. You can choose one or the other. There'll be a PowerPoint narrated slides on a topic within Chapter 1. Let's say, the elements of a constitutional democracy, right? So in those narrated PowerPoint slides, I'll lay that out and support what's in Chapter 1. I'll try to elucidate it for you, boil it down for you, explain it as best I can. Okay, so it'll be the PowerPoint slides for that particular topic within Chapter 1. Be like a part 1. To me, that's preferred as a way to consume those slides, is the PowerPoint itself. And by the way, you can get Office 365, which includes PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. It's available to you through Canvas. Right? If you go down the menu item on the left of your Canvas course, this one, PSC 101, you'll see, I think it's called Office 365. Click on that, you can download it as a student. I'll give you PowerPoint. That way you can directly interface with those PowerPoint slides. The nice thing about using the PowerPoint version of that material is that it gives you full functionality. So if I have clickable links within those slides, you can click them and see additional material that's useful. But then I'll have a second version of that same exact thing as a YouTube video. That's obviously right. It's not, you don't have to download a bunch of stuff. It's in that sense, it doesn't consume your computer's memory. That's going to be preferred for most students. I get it. I'm a pragmatist. It's a video version of the slides with closed captioning. There you do lose the functionality of the clickable links, obviously, because it's just a video of the slides in the narration. You can't click on the clickable links that way, obviously, but it's an easier way to consume the material. All right. So then there'll be a part 2. where I cover, some additional material in Chapter 1. Because I try to keep each set of slides under maybe about 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So I try to make them in digestible pieces. So there'll be like a part 1, part 2, part 3. And for each part, there'll be the PowerPoint version and the YouTube video version. So it'll look like there's more there than there really is. I'm just giving you options for how you want to consume that material. And then at the bottom, and depending on the module, there might be some ancillary material. Just this past summer. My course had become bloated over the years. I kept adding stuff and never taking away. It got completely out of hand. It was like when your garage gets filled full of crap. You're like, oh my God, how did that happen? Well, I accumulated stuff over 10 years, 15 years. That's what had happened to this course, the online version. It had gotten overstuffed. So I tried to really streamline it to the essentials. I was overwhelming students, quite honestly. I can still be a little overwhelming. But I was totally overwhelming students. It was ridiculous. So I'm trying to keep it to a minimum here. I could do way more. I could. But I'm trying to restrain myself. So there might be, let's say when we do the module on civil rights, I'll probably post a video from a series called Eyes on the Prize, a documentary about the Black Civil Rights Movement. Right, at the bottom, just to supplement the material. And then there'll also be a practice quiz, and I can hardly emphasize that enough. There'll be a practice quiz on that material. The reason those are critical, and you can take it, I think, 3 times, and it doesn't count towards your grade at all. Practice quiz. It's like Allen Iverson. Practice? You talking about practice? Not a game, right? You talking about practice? Practice? Is that what you're talking about? I grew up in the Philadelphia area. Got a total soft spot in my head for Allen Iverson. Just practice. We're not talking about a game here. All right? So take those, please. And the reason those are so useful is I will draw exam questions from the practice quizzes. All right? So it'll super behoove you to take the practice quizzes, because that'll give you an inside track on the exam. All right? I want you guys to do well. I'm here to support you. I'm here to get you through. Right? Almost everyone in here will be taking this as a general education course. I recognize that. I'm the tail of the dog here. All right? I'm not trying to wag the dog. I'm happy to have the dog wag the tail. I'm here to support whatever you're interested in at CSN, and it's probably not political science. Hey, if it is, great. I'm there for you as well. But mostly my job is a general education course for students interested in other things here at CSN. I understand and respect that. So that's why I've tried to streamline it, make it more accessible, make it more user-friendly, and I'm trying to support you and get you through. Over the summer I taught 2 sections. I only failed like 2 or 3 students total. Maybe 4 or 5. But a pretty small number. And these were, I think in every case, or almost every case, students who had given up early on and never dropped the course. That's a pro tip. If you kind of give up at some point, which don't do, but if you do, because I'm a realist, sometimes that happens for a variety of reasons, none of my business. But if you do decide essentially to drop out, drop the class. Okay? Because if you drop out and stop participating, but you don't drop the class, that's a problem. All right? It doesn't just magically go away just because you stop participating. If you're going to stop participating and you're not going to finish it, for heaven's sake, drop it. Do yourself a favor. So I think in almost every case, those are the ones who failed. Right? I had no option there. You get like a 15% for the semester. Obviously, you're going to fail. But other than that, I'm trying to keep the failure rate as low as I possibly can while still maintaining standards. All right. What's that Jerry Maguire quote? Help me, help you. Help me, help you. All right. So I'm here for you, but you need to reach out a little bit if you're struggling. And I'm trying to keep a track of how everyone's doing. And this is aspirations. if I see a student that's struggling, I may reach out and go, hey, I see you're having some troubles there. Is there anything I can do? You tell me as much or as little as you want to tell me, but is there anything I can do to facilitate you getting through this? So you don't have to take it again, or you don't have to drop out of the college, God forbid, or drop the course. What can I do within reason to get you through? All right? So keep that in mind as sort of a broad thing here. All right. All right, so that's how the modules will be structured, the substantive modules. Right, intro video, overview, PowerPoint slides, both the PowerPoint version and the YouTube version, part 1, part 2, part 3, however many parts I need to get through a chapter. And I am tracking the book a lot more than I used to. All right, so I'm making the text super relevant. Super relevant. I used to use it as kind of a broad background, deep context sort of a tool. But I decided to structure my own slides and videos around each chapter pretty closely. All right, to make it more user-friendly and accessible. And it's a recognition that most are taking this as gen ed. Okay. What else? Yeah, as the title of the book suggests, right? I do have kind of a civil rights focus here. That's my own particular interest. For a minute there, I thought I hadn't started the video. I was about ready to lose it. Yeah, there, okay, the counter's running. I'm trying to do it under 20 minutes. All right, so I do kind of a civil rights focus. You'll see that reappear throughout the semester within each topic. There could hardly be a more important issue these days, right, than civil rights. So we'll return to that theme over and over again. It's not all that we'll do, of course, but it'll be pretty central to the course. Each instructor, right, teaches this course in their own unique way. I have a particular interest in civil rights issues, and I'm also very interested in American history, so you'll get quite a bit of that. I mean, it's a cliche, but super true, and I've come to understand and respect that more and more over the years. You cannot make sense out of American politics today without knowing a fair amount about American history. If you don't have that historical context, your understanding of what's happening today is going to be superficial as heck. So what I'm trying to do here, right, is I'm trying to give you the tools that you need to be a good citizen of a democracy and to be a critical citizen, right, able to critically analyze and evaluate what's going on in our politics as a way to inform what sort of actions you take as an engaged citizen in terms of at the very least voting. Right. What are the central issues, and where do you come out on those issues, and what does that mean for where you should be casting your votes on election day. All right. Yeah, you'll see that I will be posting again those special topics modules on things like Exam 1, Exam 2, Exam 3, Exam 4. Those will include study guides and pro tips for how to take the exam, how to maximize your performance. Gosh, what else do I need to talk about here? The short writing assignments. I'll give you, for each of these assignments, I'll be giving you at least a week's heads up, in some cases 10 days or even 2 weeks. All right, so for each exam, you'll have probably at least 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, where you have the study guides and you know what's covered on those exams. The current events quizzes, I typically give you about a week. Pro tip on the current events quizzes and the exams. This is best practice. For the quizzes, current events quizzes, I would print off those articles and then have them with you when you take the quizzes. That way that you can cross-reference. I'll give you enough time to do that. You can cross-reference the articles to get the questions right. That's a super pro tip. Same for the exams. I know this can be a little bit burdensome. But for the exams, I would say print off the slides. Me, honestly, I would do that. Have the book with you, and have that at hand when you're taking the exam. It'll help you do better. You know, some of those questions you may know the answer right away. Others you might want to cross-reference the slides or the practice quizzes. Maybe you print those off, or the text itself. Or what else? So yeah, short writing assignments. Again, I'll explain that more once we start to move towards the first one, which will be several weeks away. Discussion threads. Looking for a good faith effort there. I'm looking for you to do an original post, and then a post where you respond to at least one other student's comments. Keep it civil, you know. Don't shy away from disagreement. That's the essence of a democracy, is that we disagree on all these issues. Don't shy away from disagreement, but you know, try to avoid being too harsh. Keep it civil, because we do live right in an age of what's known as hyper-polarization. We're pretty far apart. And our politics are increasingly contentious and even violent. So we want to model better democratic behavior. All right, I talked too long again. This hopefully helps you get a feel and a flavor for the course. Who I am, Dr. Francis Joseph Carleton III, and how I approach this course and how you should be consuming it on Canvas. That home page, people, can't emphasize that enough, that home page. All right, I look forward to the semester. Please reach out if you're having any issues at all. I try to make myself available as possible. I try to be timely in responding to emails. And I think if you make a good faith effort in this course, you should do just fine. But you do have to make a good faith and consistent effort throughout the semester. And you got to check in on that home page a couple times a week. All right? Thanks all.